What's up, everybody? It's your girl Keandra DeShara back here with another video. Alright, y'all, 'twas the night before Christmas. Listen, y'all, you might have seen me looking upward because I'm just looking at myself in this mirror and I know I look rough. Now listen, I am one of those people. When I go before a camera, I care about how I look. If you were to go to my social media, if you were to go to my Facebook, I'm talking everything has to be just in order. On down from the edges. The edges will not stand up. The skin gotta be moisturized. The lips gotta be moisturized. The outfit gotta be right. No wrinkles. The foundation gotta be seamless. The bra got to be right. No spillage. Sitting up. Stomach flat. I'm just saying. I'm one of those people, y'all. But thing is, God put a word in my spirit, and I told myself today that no matter what, I was going to release this word, y'all. Now listen, the time is almost 11 p.m. So let me give y'all a little history about my day. Not gonna be long. We gonna speed right on through this thing because your girl is scheduled to work a double tomorrow on Christmas, and I gotta get in the bed. So y'all listen, got up this morning, around 5-ish, 6-ish. Got ready for work, dropped my daughter off to a family friend to keep her. Oh Jesus, my shift was scheduled from 8 to 5. Got off work, went and did some last minute Christmas shopping. Yeah, I was one of them. From there, went and dropped the stuff off to my kids because I gotta work tomorrow. So, only one of my children is home. So, just getting home not too long ago, maybe about an hour and a half ago, hit the shower, put on a load of clothes, and I told myself, like, we gonna push and get this out. So I'm one of those people to where, like, 9 o'clock, I'm tired. When I get out of work, I'm tired. I don't want to do nothing. But listen, y'all, God has been dealing with me about that. There's 24 hours in a day, and I'm learning to maximize my time. Listen, y'all, when I pulled this up, as I was preparing to do my video and on my phone, so I was actually gonna do it on my tablet, right? So I'm kind of I was kind of going back and forth between, do I want to do it on my phone, do I want to do it on my tablet? But my tablet was dead. So for a minute, I was just waiting to see if my tablet would cut on, right? So I got my Bible sitting here because after I made this video, I'm going to get back in my word, right? Even if it's only a chapter, or I don't care if it's a verse, I'm going to read something, all right? Baby steps. Then God, instead of me just sitting here waiting, watching the tablet, phone already on low, you get what I'm saying? So I don't know if I want to do it here. God told me, he say, listen to what I did. I opened up my Bible and I just turned it because I asked God to give me a word. So I opened up my Bible, just read wherever my eyes laid, and I read that, and then I went to YouTube on my phone and I pulled up a little video because right now I'm reading in 1 Samuel. I'm in the 14th chapter, and there were some things that I wasn't understanding, y'all. So I like to use Bible Hub. So it's a site. And when you get to this site, you can drop down. I mean, every book, every verse, every chapter is there, and it gives multiple translations. That way, if you don't understand one, you just drop down to another. Listen, y'all, if it's a word I don't understand, I Google it because I don't want to miss anything because of misinterpretation. But tonight, God led me to pull up this specific chapter, which is chapter 14, which I had some questions about, right? So I put it up on YouTube, and there was a whole video that was created 10 months ago specifically on chapter 14, and I was able to tie the knot and guess what the Bible was basically, picturing. So, y'all, this is the word that God gave me. God told me on today, he reminded me of prophecy that he had given me. And I'm sorry, y'all, for any noise that you may hear in the background. My son is in the kitchen, which is not too far away from where I am, and he's washing dishes. So, God had reminded me. Hold on, y'all. Kahari, go do something. Go do something else. One of those other, huh? Okay, well, give me a minute because I don't want any distractions. I'm sorry, y'all. He had that water running, and it was just me trying to think, speak. It was a distraction for me. All right, so God brought to my remembrance a prophecy he had given unto me. And y'all listen, my grandmother is a pastor. She has a church in Palaca, Florida, but I stay in Jacksonville, Florida, which is about an hour away. No more than an hour and 10 minutes away. So I had went down to my grandmother's church, and this was it was a Sunday service, but they were doing something at the church for her birthday. So I had went down to show, just to give my grandma honor and, to give her flowers. So I went down for that purpose. And there was a guest pastor there. And this man had never laid eyes on me before. And he just called me out the middle of the service. And his words to me was, "You are a teacher and you are a seer." And this man went on to say, "What you want God to do for you, it's not going to happen until you do what God has told you to do." All right, y'all. So, as this, this was this last year, October. This could have been I think this was last year, October. Not this October, maybe last October. All right, y'all. So then, church full of people, right? The man went on to my sister, who was she was on the other side of the church, sitting in the back. I'm in the front, all right, on a different side. And he calls out to her and says, "You a prophet," and speaks over her life. That's my favorite sister, y'all. Got a pure heart. Then this man, my daddy not sitting too far away from her, but not with her. This man went over to my daddy. And he said, he called out to my daddy. And he said, basically he spoke over my daddy. And spoke to him and said, and y'all, I ain't gonna even get into that. But he spoke into my daddy's life and he was right on. Now listen, y'all, I think my sister and my daddy came late. This man had never laid eyes on us to know who was who. And my grandma, almost 80 years old, she hadn't told him who we were. This man was really in the spirit. And everybody in this church was not family. There were several people in this church. And this man spoke to father and daughters. It was just us three. Nobody else. Not saying that anybody else was not significant, but that was just how powerful and head-on this move of God was. So, we're gonna be real, because I don't do fake, and fake does not produce results. Fake don't bring about change, and listen, it's the anointing that destroys the yoke. So I'm not gonna get up here and sell y'all a show. So there has been something that I have been trying to obtain for a while, and it's so crazy because God has promised it to me, but I'm telling y'all, the waiting has been long, and I've grown frustrated. Like, I've dreamed it, it's been prophesied to me, I sense it, I feel it, I know it's imminent, but I have not seen it. And when I look out, my circumstances just don't align with what God has promised me, right? So, as I was reminded of this word today, I don't know why y'all, but I've been in such a season of evolvement. And when I say y'all, I don't know, my hair a little rough, y'all. So I had some boho knotless braids, and I was actually on a cruise last week, and I had gotten my hair wet, and the boho got nappy. I normally, listen, y'all, as y'all can see around here, I've been taking them out along the edges because I had gotten my hair braided by the Africans, and these people literally put like strands of hair, like put plaits on strands of hair. So I've lost edges with these braids and everything. And normally I'll be an edge to, put some edge control on here, mousse it, oiled it, and it would look a whole lot better. But I'm actually taking them out from the inside. That way in the morning I can make myself look decent and still be in the midst of taking my hair out because I'm in preparation for a hair appointment on Friday. So but y'all don't get distracted because I'm telling y'all, when I get there, I get there. I'm cute, okay? So, but I just want y'all to understand the season that I'm in. Don't be fooled by what you see. I've been in a season of just being amplified. My beauty treatments, my lashes, my nose ring that came out recently, oh Jesus, earlier this year, and it closed up. I went and got my nose pierced, and don't get me wrong, I know we ain't supposed to be marking up our bodies and stuff like that, but listen, God know my heart, and I ain't putting nothing crazy on me. You get what I'm saying? I ain't got no tongue rings, and it's cool. You get what I'm saying? So, but like, I just been like my beauty enhancement. I'm getting ready to take a makeup class to learn how to do my own makeup. All kinds of stuff. Just been investing more in my wardrobe. Y'all listen, just always being better. Like God put it, I'm a nurse, y'all, so God put it in my spirit to even begin to invest into more scrubs, better scrubs. I've been wearing the same scrubs for years, just focusing on enhancing myself, because when we look good, we feel good, and be in my confidence so I can continue to show up as the queen and the woman that I am, so that I can walk boldly in all that God has for me. Y'all, just investing into like jewelry and watches and necklaces and anklets, clothes, undershirts, little bags, and not rushing, but just when I see little things or grabbing little pieces here and there, y'all, amplifying my home, buying little pillows for the couches, all kinds of stuff. Y'all get it. So, oh gosh. So, this morning, I don't know. Okay, y'all, a little history about me. I am very optimistic. I'm very motivated. I'm a go-getter. I'm going to toot my own horn on it because, listen, y'all, in the flesh, I ain't going to say, I don't have much of a support system. And my family is back in Palaco. It's just me and my 3 kids here, along with a aunt, her husband, and her son on another side of town, and then a cousin, and then like her 4 children and husband, along with her grandchild on another side of town. So, and I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. So, y'all, I get up, I grind, and I make it happen with little, I ain't gonna say no, with a very little support system. So, but like I said, I'm always looking for ways to be better. Always looking for ways to master my craft. I'm content but never complacent. So just always raising the bar. So I told myself this morning when I got up, I'm like, you know what? I'm a good nurse, but I'm gonna be an even better nurse today. I just woke up with my zeal back, right? So y'all, I'm a hospice nurse, so I go to several facilities and I see patients that are assigned to me through the hospice company that I work for. And I'm getting tired, so I'm gonna go. So y'all, we see the patients. I'm entitled to see all my patients once a week for a scheduled visit. Of course, if something arises and my patient has a change in condition or any distress, I go out and I see them for what's called a focused assessment/visit, and I acknowledge their needs, make sure they're comfortable, basically any problems that they have, any changes in conditions, getting those resolved, getting orders from the doctor, implementing those orders, and basically keeping my people straight. So we also order supplies for them. So basically when I go out, I order, at the end of each visit, I order all my patients wipes, briefs, pull-ups if that's what they need. I work with the elderly population, so body wash, lotions, salts. If they need bags for their feeding, their G tubes, that if they need the feeding for their G tube, that whatever it is, all right, y'all, nothing's too small. So I went to this facility to see two patients, and I actually have another I went to see two patients. Hello, how many? No, I went to see three patients, but I have a total of 4 in that building. But I was not seeing the fourth one today, but I had a bag of supplies for her in my car that I had almost forgotten about. But I had to go to my car to retrieve, I think it was my blood pressure cuff or something. Which was in my book bag. So I went to the car to get my book bag that I had left in the car. But as I got my book bag, I had already been in the facility, by the way, for a while. So as I went to my car to get my book bag, I was like, some said check the back seat and see if you have supplies for any of these people at this building, because I go to I think 4 or 5 different buildings. I'm not even gonna try and count. Again, I'm tired. And see different patients. I have a caseload of like 20 between those 4 or 5 nursing homes. So it just so happened that the lady that I wasn't seeing, I had a bag for her with supplies. So I went to her room, not to see her, but to just put her supplies in her room for her or whatever. So if y'all listen, I always take my supplies out the bag, and I like to put them, to stack them nice and neat and put them in eyes view for the CNA or whoever's working with them, so that they're not in a closet or somewhere and they don't see them and they're not used. I want them to be readily accessible, right? So I always do that. But today I was tired, y'all. No, not tired. I'm tired now. I'm sorry. Today I was basically, I gave my patients a lot more time today. Not that I don't on the average, but when I say I was just doing everything on down to repositioning my patients, comparing the orders that the facility had to the orders that we had in our system to make sure that everything was in alignment, getting weights on my patient. Don't get me wrong, I'm always diligent in my care, but I was just doing like some maintenance, okay, just to make sure that everything was straight. But of course, this was a little bit more timely. So by the time I get to her, I done saw all these other 3 patients, and I get to her and I'm dropping off supplies. I'm like, oh shoot, we behind a little bit on timing. I have 2 other patients to see today, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna put these supplies in the bag. I'm gonna leave them in the bag, put them on her little shelf, and the CNA can just take them out when she gets to her. And y'all, and I turned to walk away. I don't claim OCD, but I'm just gonna say it ain't OCD, because I rebuked that in the name of Jesus. But it's just, I guess, the way I am and the way I'm wired, like, okay, it has to be perfect. Like, no, that just looks tacky. You get what I'm saying? So I turned back around and I began to take the stuff out the bed. And I'm stacking it right on her little nightstand or whatever. Well, it was like a little nightstand, little side, yeah, like it's a little nightstand. So, but there was a shelf like on top of her, like overshadowing, like a tier shelf overshadowing her nightstand. So as I'm putting the stuff on the nightstand, y'all, crazy thing is, I look up and I see my stethoscope that I've misplaced about a month ago. And I'm gonna show it to y'all. And if you in the medical field, let me tell y'all something. Nursing supplies, medical supplies, stethoscopes, blood pressure cuffs, that stuff is expensive and nobody wants to buy it. And it's like gold. It's like gold in facilities, because I'm telling you, somebody will see that and be like, ooh, got me a free stethoscope, like got me $100 stethoscope, and they'll pocket it. Blood pressure cup, ooh, got me a blood pressure cup, because these are the things that we need to take care of our patients. But nobody wants to go spend all their money on medical equipment. You get what I'm saying? That's some Fashion Nova. It's a pair of shoes. But yeah, I'm gonna show y'all my blood pressure cup. This is it, and it's pink, and it's a Littman. It's a good brand. And y'all, it matters to me because, listen, I work with the elderly population. Like, we are in winter. A lot of patients have been popping up with COVID, pneumonia, respiratory distress. I need to be able to listen to the lungs and see what's going on with my people, so that my assessment can be accurate, head on, and I can get them the treatment that they need, so that when I'm telling a doctor, because the doctor is not there when you, like nursing homes and stuff like that, the doctor's not there. And when you call the doctor and let them know what's going on with your patient, they're treating and giving orders, because this ain't no hospital, specifically off the information that you're providing, the signs and the symptoms that you report. So I gotta be accurate, y'all. So I had been stalling on buying another stethoscope, y'all, right? And the reason being is that they're so expensive, and I like Fashion Nova, and I had to get my mind right. I had to get my mind right to go buy another one. But however, another facility that I go to see patients, they keep these cheap plastic stethoscopes that work. Now, don't get me wrong, they work, but they just, I mean, they use these a lot of times for people with, like, who are on isolation for you know, could be infection, some kind of disease, you know, little stuff like that. So they keep these, that way we're not taking the same stethoscope, you know, taking the stethoscope from a sick, compromised individual to a healthy individual and putting them at risk. We use it, we toss it. So I'm gonna show it to y'all. Listen, y'all see the difference? Hold on, let me turn it around. It's plastic, but it worked. Show y'all my Littman. It's metal. Well, I ain't gonna say metal, but it's heavy. So, and it's amplified like me. So y'all, I'm like, oh my gosh. So when I saw my stethoscope, so I had been using the little yellow one, right? Because we're gonna give good care. I'm gonna see about my people. But we've been using this one for a couple weeks now. Maybe about, since I lost that one. And y'all, listen, I had came to terms. I actually thought about my stethoscope again yesterday, and I actually had just like came to terms with, like, okay, it's gone. We're gonna get another one. I came to terms with that yesterday, and today I found it. I ain't know where I had left it, because y'all, I got another little part-time gig that I do here and there. I ain't know what facility, I ain't know what patient I was seeing. I didn't I didn't know. So, my blood pressure cuff, y'all. I hadn't lost my blood pressure cuff about, when did I lose my blood pressure cuff? Maybe I was on a cruise last week, and for a week. I lost my blood pressure cuff maybe 2 weeks ago. So, I had been using like the facilities blood pressure equipment, but I like to have my own because y'all listen. Sometimes you can't find that stuff. People hide it because they often don't have like a lot of it. Sometimes it malfunctions. The nursing homes are big, so sometimes there's only like maybe 3 or 4 in the nursing home. You got a 120 bed facility. You got CNAs on this wing, on this side of the nursing home. They hide that stuff. You get what I'm saying? So that when they need it, they have it. Nurses do too. So I just like to have my stuff because I like to see about my people. But I had been using theirs, right? So last night I was tired when I had gotten off work, but I told myself, I'm like, Keith, we finna go get a blood pressure cuff because that ain't cool. And we can't depend on other people to make sure we straight, right? So y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all, and the crazy thing is about yesterday was I saw something, listen. Yesterday, I saw something so heartbreaking. And I don't want to release that yet because I want to stay on topic. I saw something so heartbreaking and it hurt me. And when I saw it, I was like, okay, this is real. It's time to let go. And I sat there kind of numb, not numb, but just kind of like in shock. Because even yesterday, I was like, okay, we gonna do this. I'm not gonna keep going through these cycles of having my zeal, losing my zeal, getting it back, having momentum, losing momentum. And I've always been one of those people to where it's like, when I'm motivated, I'm motivated. But when something hurts me, it's like it would paralyze me and debilitate me. Y'all, I've had times where I've been so heartbroken and distraught to where I would lay in bed for just hours. And I'm talking, a person from the outside would be like, oh, she do so good. She a nurse. She take care of kids. She's this, she's that. But I literally have had times, where I would just spend the day in bed. Like, I don't claim depression, but depressed. I don't have depression, but when I would get sad, like I'm one of those people, I just think about it and I mope and I lay around, and I could actually be doing good, and then something happened, and it's like I'm going to bed. Because for me, sleeping was a way of escape. Because I've had the tendency to overthink. I've had the tendency to dwell. Notice I'm saying I've had, I don't have. He said, speak those things that be not as if though they were. Okay, so check this out. So I've had the tendency to just shut down. I'm going to bed, and I would just replay things over and over and over, and it would just become too much to bear. So I'm going to bed, and I'll try it again tomorrow. And now everything that I've had lined up to do that day, it's like I put off. So when I saw this, I was at work, and I knew when I saw it, because it hurt it, but I knew I know that I have grown so much because, y'all, when I saw it, it was like, this is real. It's time to let go. I didn't get angry. At first, I just kind of like took the time to just process it. But I was at work, but I didn't slack off on my work. Like, and I'm not a person that slack off on my work, but I didn't let that take me off my pivot. I'm like, okay, well, I still got to get this work done, because at the time when I saw it, I was in the middle of doing some work, and I was very determined to get the stuff I had, you know, that I had basically said that I was going to do to get it done. So I kept doing it. So I'm like, okay, that's a sign we're doing better. And then I want to say maybe like 45 minutes after that, got in my car because I was leaving the office, and I was headed to see a patient. And then that's when the sadness set in. And y'all, it was a trying time, but it was such a beautiful time because I kept going. But y'all, all right, let's get back on track. So y'all, as I'm coming out the room with this blood pressure cuff, this stethoscope, and I walk down the hall, and I go to the nursing station, and I begin to share my news with the CNAs who work in the facility. So mind y'all, they're familiar with me. Funny how I used to work at this facility, right? I used to work at this facility, and there was another nurse who did not work at the facility, and she was with the company that I now work for. And I asked her about her job because she was with hospice, coming to see patients in the facility that I was working. And she told me about it, and I was like, that sounds like the job for me. 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, salary based, very flexible, no weekends. I'm like, okay, I need that. The pay sounded good. Well, it ended up becoming my job. And it was so funny because she referred me, and as I was, and she, you know, she bragged on this job, but as I was coming in the door, she was going out. She served her purpose, and shout out to her. God bless her. But y'all, so I go to the nursing station, and I tell my former co-workers at this facility that I go out to see patients at, I go tell them the news. I'm like, y'all, I just found my my stethoscope after a month, you know, in such and such room. And it was like, oh yeah, we've been seeing that. We know whose song that was. And it was so shocking because, like I said, people normally steal this kind of stuff. Everybody ain't honest. And it may not even be a thief. See, the way my spirit is set up nowadays, it's like, and I wouldn't always like this. I don't care how small it is. You get what I'm saying? It's not mine. You get what I'm saying? So I'm not going to take it. But some people will see that stuff like, okay, you know, ain't nobody claiming it. I'm going to take it as mine. But I was just so surprised to see my stethoscope. So then as I'm testifying, mind y'all, I done walked from my patient room down to the nursing station, which is a little ways from her room, right? I'm telling them about my stethoscope, and as I'm talking to them, testifying about the goodness of God, and I was just just giving them the revelation that God had given me about when you do what God, until you do what God has called for you to do, you're not going to get what you want. Y'all are called, I'm tired. So as I'm telling them my testimony, y'all, why I see my blood pressure cuff that I lost 2 weeks ago at the nursing station, sitting with all the other little broken, sitting with like some broken equipment. And I'm like, there go my blood pressure cuff. Listen, y'all, I told y'all I go to 4 or 5 different facilities. I didn't know where it was, where I had left it. Listen, y'all, today I recovered all. But like I told y'all, I went and bought a blood pressure cuff last night. So now I'm sitting here with 2 stethoscopes and 2 blood pressure cuffs. And it all started with a revelation that God gave me on this morning. That unto you are a seer and you are a teacher, and until you do what God has called for you to do, that's basically what's going to release what you are wanting from God. So listen, y'all, I did not intend for this video to be so long, And as tired as I am, I'm finna press and read. I don't care if it's a verse or a chapter in First Samuel. And that's gonna be that. I'm not gonna overexhaust myself, but I'm finna execute, y'all. And moral of the story is, this is my word for you on today. This is your word. This is your confirmation from God. I got your stuff. At least he said, Merry Christmas. Twas the night before Christmas. I got your stuff. I have your blessing. It has your name on it. It will not miss you. And you are getting ready to see why it didn't work. There's been some places that you've been pushed out of. There's been some rejection. You felt like, listen, you've been in your Joseph season. You've been in your you've been in your pit season. You done been in jail. And I'm not talking, whether it be I'm not talking about a physical jail that may be your story, but I'm talking about, it's like you've been chained. You've been you weren't guilty. You get what I'm saying? You've been persecuted. Like Job, you've been mocked. You've lost. You get what I'm saying? You've been scrutinized. All this different little stuff. Like David, you've been left in the field. You get what I'm saying? You've been overlooked. And God is saying, you getting ready to see why, and it's big. God has opened the windows of heaven, and He has poured out your blessing. Listen, y'all. It's been hard because you've been in your birthing season. Y'all, don't you know that when you in birth, when you get them contractions hurt, but basically what they're doing is the contractions are basically okay, let me set up for this, because now I got to go into my knowledge storage. Basically what these contractions are doing is basically pushing down on your uterus and basically causing your baby to expel. You get what I'm saying? It's like it's squeezing, it's pushing, and basically like with each pain it's like you get a little closer to delivery. Okay, so y'all listen, the baby's out the bag. And another thing I want to tell y'all on today, God is saying, I'm giving you the gun, let it spray. And I ain't talking to no murderers. Y'all ever heard that little saying, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun? And don't mind his nail, because y'all, I'm actually getting ready to go back for a new set, but these are the last little two that's on, so don't mind it. I've been popping all my nails off today. But yeah, the old saying goes, there ain't no fun when the rabbit has the gun. God said, you have the gun, let it spray. It's time to let loose, okay? It's time to create. The time is now. Listen, what you have to say matters. What you do matters. God said, stop sitting in rooms upon the people that I did not call. And I've called you to dominate in that very room. God said, it's time to dominate. I love you. Be blessed. I'm going to bed. All right, bye.